Hi everyone, Wismarid here. Today I want to give you my feedback on the fastest way to level up all the way to level 100 in Season 2, and the best way by far is by resetting the best Nightmare Dungeon available in Season 2, which is Sirocco Caverns. This is the best place to level up your character. Nothing else comes close. The amount of experience per hour you will get inside this dungeon is absolutely nuts. This is how I've been leveling from level 77 to level 100. And you still have the possibility to reset the dungeon, even though in a party before we used to do that by changing the leadership of the party to reset the Nightmare Dungeon. This has been patched. This is not available anymore. Now, the way to reset your dungeon will be after you complete 99% of the dungeon, you will exit the dungeon and you will set a timer for 2 minutes and a half. And at 2 minutes and 31 seconds minute mark, that's the time you're going to enter your dungeon again, and it will have fully reset. It's going to be a brand new dungeon, same map, new layout, that you're going to run over and over until you reach level 100. Alright, so in this video, I'm showing you, I only used 2 godlike keys for Sirocco Caverns to level up to level 100. The first one is this key. I entered this dungeon level 77. That's when I found or crafted, I don't remember, my first Sirocco Cavern key with GG affixes. I entered this key level 77. This run is level 80. You can see that this key is of tier 39, so the level of the monsters is 93. Therefore, you want to run this dungeon and reset it until you reach level 94. 1 level ahead of the monster, because this is when you have 1 level ahead of the monsters, the XP you're going to have a malus. It's going to be minus 10%, I believe, or something like that, because you have a higher level than the mobs. Anyway, long story short, when you reach level 94, that's the time you're going to complete this key, right? And you're going to get the XP for a glyph. And then that's the time you want to craft a new key. The second key I had, monsters were level 108, which is close to the perfect number. You want monsters on your second key to be level 109. Why? Because when you will reach level 99, monsters will be 10 levels ahead of you, which means a 15% multiplier on the base 200% experience gain from being in World Tier 4, which is, by the way, multiplied also by your elixir. So that's 200 times 1.15, because of the 10 levels gap, times 1.05. Okay, this is how you're going to maximize experience gain this way. And mobs being 10 levels higher than you also reach the gap for the additional single experience per monster kill that you get. There is also a bonus, a flat number, and it caps out at plus 10. So if you run my strategy, this is the best possible way, the fastest possible way to level up to 100. Okay, so that's very, very important. And then when you're going to reach level 100, there will only be a plus 9 gap, but it doesn't matter because you will be level 100 already. Okay, so 2 keys basically are needed. That one until, or similar than this one, until level 94, and another one where mobs will be level 109 until level 100. Now, this strategy has one drawback, which is not a big deal because we're going to play around it. By doing that, you're not going to level up your glyphs, right? Because you're very rarely going to complete a dungeon. Therefore, you're not gonna get glyph experience. That's not an issue at all, because I have put up the most optimized build to run this strategy. A build that in the Paragon boards only focuses on getting multipliers from your level 1 glyphs and doesn't care at all about scaling the additive damage part. So you will still hit like a truck. You see, like I entered level 77 and mobs were level 93. I'm still packing a punch. So don't worry, you are very good on the offensive side of things. And same for the next key, you're going to scale your damage with multipliers from the glyphs themselves, but not from the additive scaling of the glyphs. Right. The second video, the one that's coming right after this one, will be showing you my feedback on the best build that I put up and that I run for this strategy. And there are slight modifications as I run this setup, this build. I noticed a few minor things that I updated. Therefore, I'm going to give you the latest and greatest to apply this strategy. All right, quick word on the gameplay. You see I'm not picking up any items when I do those runs because I want to make those runs as fast as possible. Those runs were 8 minutes long when I was in the 80-ish levels, and I choose not to pick up any item. I just pick up maybe legendaries that I salvage, either kept or salvage for mats. And I picked up the glyphs. This is very important. You want to pick up the glyphs. You might want to pick up the legendaries, but you really don't need to pick up the rare and below items. This is because the build is very strong, and maybe you only need to upgrade your weapons here and there, but you are going to do it during the 2.5 minutes downtime. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But during this run, try to be efficient. Speed run the dungeon. Be efficient, be fast. This is how you're going to skyrocket your experience gain per hour. It's in the millions range. Trust me, guys. Right, now, what do we do between, during the downtime of the dungeon? It takes 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 30 seconds exactly for the dungeon to reset. What are we doing? Well, we're gonna do Vampiric Tide, Blood Harvest, I believe they are called in English. To reset this dungeon, once you run 99% of the dungeon, you're going to use the wheel and exit the dungeon, set a timer on your phone or wherever, and then port to the current Vampiric Tide, the Blood Harvest zone. Go there on your horse, be as fast as possible, and then smash things. Vampires, free prisoners, kill the vampiric versions of the druid, barb, sorcerers and stuff. Very fun. I love the season theme, by the way. Just do those things, and that's the time you want to pick up your items. And this way, you're not going to feel, see, this is how I'm resetting. Leave dungeon, and as I leave the dungeon, I'm going to set a timer for 2.5 minutes. Get as fast as possible into the Vampiric Tide. So there you want to pick up mats, you want to pick up your items and stuff, and maybe once every 4 runs, that's the time you're not, during the downtime, that's the time you're not going to run the Vampiric Helltide, but instead you're going to sort your inventory. That's how I recommend you do things. And maybe 1 run out of 6, you could use that moment to upgrade your vampiric powers, okay? I don't recommend the Helltides, running the Helltide during the downtime. I recommend scaling, like leveling up your vampiric powers. You have 2.5 minutes every 8 minutes to do that, okay? So that's the strategy. Now, let me show you the keys that I used. I only used 2 keys, and which I consider to be GG keys. Okay, in this first, the left one is the one I've been running where enemies were level 93. And Lightning Storm, it might surprise you, but it is a GG affix in a key like that. Why? Okay, let's analyze the gameplay. See, there's this usually annoying thing that's following me. It's been changed. It will only trigger in combat. Now, it's not gonna trigger when you're out of combat. And when you're in combat, you're anyway busy killing things, right? So when it's gonna trigger, you either go inside the dome and still kill things around, or on the Sorcerer, you have the options to pop your flame armor. What's the name of that? Flame shield, I'm sorry. can't speak, flame shield, and by the time the lightning pops, just use your flame shield and you will be immune, it won't damage you. But in the case you went inside under the dome, there's been a change to that affix. When the lightning hits the dome while you're inside of it, just like right here, see, I'm fighting, I don't care so much, beam, you get 25% movement speed for 3 seconds. So this is a positive affix now. It's huge, guys. We're speedrunning the dungeon in 8 minutes. Our experience is flying. So anyway, we're fighting when this thing will trigger. And usually we're finishing our fight by the time the lightning comes. And when it hits, that's the time, look at that, that's the time there are no more enemies, or more or less. Well, this one is not completely perfect, but this is where I get 25% movement speed for 3 seconds. So under the right circumstances, this will tremendously help you in clearing the dungeon as fast as possible. So that's why I choose that key. The rest is pretty rubbish, like the green, the positive thing is useless. I don't use thorns. You want to be very careful with the fourth affix. If it says monster take 40% less cold damage, or if they have like critical strike damage protection, you will have to salvage that key. It's going to slow you down too much, right? So pay attention to the fourth. That's the most important one, and number 1 and 2 are important. The rest, you don't care that much usually. And let's look at the second key. It is godlike because of the green thing. Reduce cooldown on kill. This is big. The density in Sirocco Cavern is huge. There are millions of small tiny spiders, and every time you kill one of them, it reduces all your cooldowns. And we are sorcerer, we care about that a lot. You reduce all your cooldowns by a quarter of a second. This is huge. This is going to speed up a lot your clear. The GG, the godlike key, will be to combine Lightning Storm and reduce cooldown on kills. This is the perfect key you could have. There's also another one where it gives you attack speed and movement speed when you kill monsters. I also consider it to be an S tier affix on a key. Okay, Death Pulse is annoying, but if you stack 70% shadow resistance, it's not going to one-shot you. It's not a problem. In fact, I'm going to show you the run of the second key. That would be that one. So this run, yeah, I'm level 99. So actually, this was my last run before reaching level 100. Mobs are level 108, like I said. Much better if they were 109, but hey, we can't have it all. And yes, those on-death explosion things, I'm capped out. Like the Sorcerer is really good for capping out resistances, obviously. And when I checked, I was like, because I tried to optimize my build, but since I was speed running, I didn't have a lot of options when it came to like choosing what to equip. Really, didn't have that many options. And then I realized that very soon I capped 70% on everything. And I was not really optimizing things. Okay, I was just making sure that my gems in jewelry were like a smart choice to increase the resistance that I needed the most. But I was not really hard trying. And on the Sorcerer, it's really easy to cap out at 70%, sometimes more under specific circumstances. The resistances you really want are poison, because in this dungeon, there's a lot of poison damage from spiders and spider hosts. You want fire, surprisingly, because I found out that, or maybe it's just me because it's supposed to be RNG, but the affixes on elites most often was a fire affix, and then I found it very useful. And then the third one would be the one related to the key affix. Like for this one, this does shadow damage, those on-death explosion. The lightning dome does lightning damage, so you might want to have lightning damage. You could take a hit. I took a few. If you have ice armor up and you're in combat, you can take a hit. It won't one-shot you. And obviously, if you have a flame shield, you're not going to die because you're immune. Okay, so that's the general philosophy on how you're going to infinite reset, basically, this dungeon, which is very, very nice. A few tips and tricks. If you encounter the butcher, don't fight him. You're going to waste a lot of time. If you kill him, by the way. It's very easy to avoid him on this dungeon. Why? Doom. Because of that. Because there are two cliffs on the at the middle of the dungeon. So if you find him on the first or second part, you have the option to still kill things like hit and run while going back up or down the cliff. And as soon as you're up and he's down, or the other way around, he's going to get back his ass to hell. He's not going to chase you anymore. That's very convenient. So that's one trick. Maybe let's talk about the gameplay. I'm going to present the build I've been running in the next video that I'm going to link at the end of this video. Basically, when you start a fight and there's a lot of density, you want to you always alternate between frostbolts and spenders. We're going to see why in the build setup. But you want to lay blizzards all over the place and drag mobs on top of it. It's going to take a few seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, for them to freeze. And then once they freeze, your Ice Shard enchantment is going to trigger. It's going to fast fire at everything. It deals very nice AoE damage, and it will trigger your Avalanche passive class and your Frigid Breeze skill tree node, which are two very important things, because as the density is so high that it's going to trigger all over the place, which means free casts of Ice Shards and mana refund in case you are not full mana. The mana refund is going to make sure that you're always above 100 mana when you cast Ice Shards, which is going to add at least 30% additive critical strike chance, which is huge. And the Avalanche is going to give you free casts of your Ice Shards and have a 40% damage multiplier on those hits, which is huge. So see, that's the setup. Frostbolt, Avalanche, Frostbolt, Avalanche, Frostbolt, Avalanche, and then when everything freezes, there you have two like additional damage multipliers because they are frozen. But in this build, I chose not to rely too much on those because they are very annoying when you have to fight a boss, which you do have to fight from times to times when your key is not a Sirocco Cavern. So yeah, they are going to be frozen, and basically that's the setup. And when the density is low, you're only going to do Frostbolt into Ice Shard, into Frostbolt, Ice Shard, Frostbolt, Ice Shard. Don't bother laying down blizzards. It's going to slow you down and consume too much mana. So like if there's just a group of 3 spiders or 5, what's the name of those silly things? Maggot, the maggot faggot. Don't bother, right? Anyway, so that's basically the setup on the infinite reset of Sirocco Cavern. I hope I did not forget anything in this video. The next video that you're going to see now, that's gonna pop, will be showcasing everything about the build. Items, skill tree, paragon, vampiric powers, and best in slot rolls if you somehow have the choice on rolls, because once again, this is made to be super fast, super efficient. Vampiric Tides during the downtime, upgrade your powers, sort your inventory, do your chores, as I call them, during the time this dungeon is resetting, during the 2.5 minutes. Anyway guys, this was Wismeril signing off. It's a pleasure to have you there. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I have a hell lot of videos. The next, by the way, after I do those two, the next videos will be build guides. So the first one I'm going to assemble is obviously the Ball Lightning, which seems to be the best season 2 in the entire season. In the entire season, it looks to be super strong, maybe even stronger than the Necromancer builds and stuff. So I'm definitely going to assemble this one and showcase it on the channel. I also have on my list a Chain Lightning speed farming build that is very efficient also. We're gonna have a blast. And then the next one will be a Conjuration build guide. And then on my list I have a Dot build, of course, because it's being buffed. during season 2, and after that we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's going to be a basic attack build. I'm going to I didn't do that one yet, I did all the other ones. I'm going to theory craft what is the best possible basic attack build, and I like theory crafting. Like, I usually come up with pretty strong things, and we're going to have a ball like running this basic attack build, like the most efficient one you can get, because there are many vampiric powers pardon me, I'm still sick. There are many vampiric powers that are about buffing your basic attacks, so you're in for a lot of fun. Subscribe if not already done. Let me know in the comments if you have questions about what I'm doing and why I'm doing. I usually respond to all the comments. And yeah, basically, nice to have you guys here. I'll see you in the next video.